The chairman for this occasion, Professor Kwame Karekare, Managing Director of Graphic Communications, Mr. Atu Afu, the Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Kobe Asma, and senior editors, staff of the Communications Group of Graphic, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States of America, and other excellencies, the Honorable Minister for Information, the Honorable Dr. Awa, Minister for Business Development, the Honorable Asamoah Boateng, the Chairman of the EC, my good media friend, Mrs. Afeni Dazi, my classmate and media lady, former graphic editor, Madam Elizabeth Ohene, for whom the bell tolls fame. Those who know. Our sister, Madam Adjoa Yeboah Afari, the indefatigable Ayeboafo. In fact, I'm filled with nostalgia standing here. My chief from Osu, also the president of the Regional House of Chiefs, Adaraka Manche, other Nime here present, friends of the media, all the board executives and directors of graphic communications, I have a tall order here. Let me please say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a lot of pleasure. I never thought I would stand here someday, Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to stand before you at the 70th anniversary of Graphic, what we simply call Graphic. Because the Graphic virtually first taught me to read when I was about a 5-year-old boy at Asamankesi. When Graphic was born, I was 5 years old. It appeared reading was quite innate in me, and my parents, especially my father, was keen on it. My house was a record of daily Graphic. There's one thing that is lacking today, and I was pointing it out to the editor when he last met me. I miss the Ghana yearbook. And I'm sure it will send memories onto many people here this morning. Ghana yearbook was history. It was contemporary history. It was a learning document for all young people, especially, who cared to learn. On this occasion, I pray and I beg you, go back to your archives and get us Ghana yearbook. We started as Gold Coast yearbook. And please continue Ghana yearbook, because we live in a nation where we easily forget the obvious, and it is painful. If we forget our past, we will continue to relive our problems, and we are not going to get anywhere. It's one of the things that Graphic was eminently noted for. On this occasion, I wish to salute them for that, because among others, it helped to seriously educate me. In my time, it was common to say, when somebody asked, "Oh, but where did you get this from?" "Oh, I don't believe this story." In fact, it was enough to say, "I tell you, it is in the Graphic." I could see on the lady Afenyin Dazi really opening her arms in appreciation, because it's a gospel truth. It is in the Graphic. And those who said it is in the Graphic were never proved wrong. That is authoritative newspaper reporting. I pray that we should do a sankofa, because we've done it before. And as we have a number of papers around, let them please be authoritative. And particularly, those ones today who say, "It's so and so there," and then makes a common a question mark. It means the editor himself is not sure of what he's saying, and yet he has brought it as front page. It is sensational journalism. The Graphic was a source of authoritative reporting, and happily it continues to remain so, and we should thank the good Lord for that. These are some of the reasons why I will not have missed this occasion for anything, because I consider it rather a favor to me to be here on this 70th anniversary to share a few things which I have admired for ages, from the time I was aged 5. The communications group was first and foremost founded on corporate principles of correctness. In other words, it was not just journalism. How do you have a bureaucracy that has got from head to toe a way of doing things? The "you too can fly" approach doesn't help us. So that there is a systematic approach to the management. This is something that the whites established, and which the first editor, Mr. Nelson Kofi, of blessed memory, upheld and imparted into a number of Gold Coasters, subsequently Ghanaians. This is something that we must abide by. You cannot do any good thing anyhow and let it succeed. Secondly, they abided by neutrality, whether it was the People's Daily Graphic, Intervention, or whatever. Graphic stood for the truth and proper verified reporting, and that is how I believe it made its good name. We live in challenging times, and this is something that I believe we should not play with. Today, the group is the largest and the leading newspaper in the whole of our dear country. And on the occasion of this celebration, we cannot but wish them very well. Your publications, be them in the Daily Graphic, the Mirror, Graphic Sports, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, have gone a long way to inform the public with news spanning from politics, education, business, family, health, sports, arts, culture, and entertainment, among others. And I believe that we should watch the span of reportage in this country. In other words, if we don't take care, we will continue to sink and sink lower into political journalism. But the nation is not a political field per se. It is social, cultural, economic, scientific, etc., etc. Where are the reportage on this? And you see in the graphic a clear demarcation of points areas, topic areas, thematic approaches that show you that it is not merely a matter of political commentaries. And I believe this is one way to continue to build a nation. It's not just a matter of selling a paper. Sometimes I've heard, if you report only that, people won't buy your paper. Otherwise, they would have long stopped buying the graphic. I've also heard people wonder whether they can make profit by just doing it right. The graphic corporation was actually purchased at a particular time just because it was a state decision. Nevertheless, even when it had been made a state institution, Graphic refused to go for government subventions. Graphic remained commercial, and Graphic continued to make profit, and Graphic continued to maintain its own dignity. I pray other public corporations will learn from this. And this independence was for a purpose. The purpose of warding off control as much as was expedient or possible in the political circumstances. Largely, the Graphic have succeeded in doing this, and any interference with them becomes difficult for successive politicians. May it continue to remain so. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if the public can appreciate and contribute to public discussions pertaining to the happenings in and around the country, then the Graphic team deserves a continuous and resounding applause from all of us. The innovativeness of the Graphic, remodeling all ways of doing their work to satisfy new needs, has been the hallmark of this institution. Consistently, they have never fallen behind global developments in their area of endeavor. In 2006, Graphic Group set up a new pace for media operations in Ghana by creating a socio-political platform for international and local experts, academics, and journalists to dialogue on governance issues in Africa, known as the Government Dialogue Platform, with the theme Consolidating Political Stability in Africa for Accelerated Growth. This aimed at contributing to the development of our democracy and national development. Very often, it's painful to see that the same persons are experts on all national matters, from archaeology to zoology, and we don't have experts contributed to a national dialogue. This is very, very important. And you will see that the Graphic example was a positive attempt to depart from this pathway. It means, therefore, that let us have a network of experts so that we can call them on various national issues, so that our discussions will be well informed, policy reading, and devoid of vituperation. This is surely the way for us to develop as a nation. Graphic showed the way in this and many other perspectives, and they deserve to be congratulated. Today's world is faced with a wide range of health, political, digital, socio-economic issues. It is therefore critical to approach issues with a new paradigm shift and remain one of the most credible media outlets throughout the world, with the right approach, accurate information, and a source of information worthy of its sort. I urge you all in Graphic today to stand true to what your predecessors had set up, making this place a reputable media house. The Graphic has stood the test of time. Hence, your influence on the public should not be underestimated. I urge you all to use this competitive advantage as a solid stepping stone to jealously guard our national developmental agenda and fledgling democracy. Particularly in this election year, let us take a cue from the Graphic and be mindful of reportage and commentary so that the standard will be high, particularly in thematic terms. And if you want the vote, what are you going to qualitatively add to the lives of Ghanaians? It is very significant to pursue this pathway no matter the cost. Let me assure that in Parliament we are in a position and are most willing to cooperate with the media and give every opportunity for the media to report without having the temptation of censoring anything. Nevertheless, we expect that as a reputable house, you will give us all the appropriate decorum. I believe with all my heart that is not too much to ask. I congratulate the Daily Graphic today for this 70th celebration event. You taught me whilst I was a little boy. I continue to be taught by you. I trust I will continue also again to be taught by you. Continue with the high standard you have set from the time of Nelson Kofi and Co. And may Graphic live long. I thank you very much.